There we go. Okay. But you can talk about anything this time. You can talk about shoes. You can talk about Dutch ovens. Anything you want. No? All right.
And welcome back to the Nub. This is the Merce.
Spelton.
And the bald bearded bard.
And today we are going to talk about fish sticks and mac and cheese. Pro, against, like, where do you stand on that?
I actually prefer fish fingers and custard.
Mm.
That was a really nerdy Doctor Who reference.
Exactly. You're such a nerd.
Whatever, at least I'm united in Brevard and beyond.
Well, we're not beyond yet because somebody hasn't put that little addition on the logo yet. I'm just saying.
Oh, that's right. I gotta do the cardboard construction logo idea I had. That's hilarious. Oh, I keep forgetting.
Yes. So this last weekend, right? This last weekend, we celebrated my birthday. Me and Felton and some friends, and we played some board games. We played some Ciro. We played some Dixit. We played some Jamaica, some King of Tokyo. And yeah, what'd you think of that? Did you have a good time there, Felton?
Absolutely, except for when Foxtail knocked me out of the game. No, that was revenge for Craven.
Yeah, just when you thought you were on top, right?
I thought I was
actually
gonna win. No,
I have to say you actually did a lot better this time around than previously. Like, you were totally with it. Like, knew what was going on in the game. Like, was on top of things. So I got to applaud you. I'm gonna give you a little golf clap.
oh, do I get a gold star?
Good job. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, especially with Jamaica. Like, I felt so excited because that wasn't the first time I played it. So.
Oh, so when you saw it again, you're like, yes.
Oh, awesome! This is a great pick. Woohoo! And I liked it the first time we played it. It was nice.
Now, I don't know if you know what that game is, Stony, bald bearded bard. Sorry, but it's basically like a racing game, right? But everybody's playing a pirate, and you have to like pay port fees and feed your pirate crew and battle the other pirate ships and steal their booty and all that kind of stuff. And whoever gets all the way around Jamaica first will probably be the winner. But it really comes down to whoever's got the most money and points at the end. But usually that's the person in the lead.
That sounds great.
Oh, it's a fantastic game. Very beautiful. So, love it. Stoney, let me ask you, I guess show's end got pushed back, didn't it?
That's what I heard. Anthony mentioned that he has his comp copies, but that he's still waiting for the book to be released.
Oh, we're going to get comp copies? Sweet.
Yes, that's what he said, yeah.
I hope that we all get comp copies. I'd be excited about that. Yeah, even Felton. Ooh. So, it got pushed back to the 15th of August, I believe.
Yeah.
I think that's what I saw, which I don't know why. I'm trying not to be nervous about that. I'm hoping everything's okay. Especially since mine comes out in winter, quote unquote, without an actual like month. So
yeah,
try not to. Winter is coming.
Yeah, and my book too.
Fernandez, and he was talking about a release date for mine, which I had no clue. I mean, I'm not in the solicits or anything, so I had no idea. When I was kind of thinking after the first year, he said probably this time next year.
Oh wow, that's a ways. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So you try not to get. Well, it's like I said, I'm kind of worried about all these extra ones they're adding, but hey, like we just gotta keep the faith, right?
That's right.
So, that's kind of the boilerplate, kind of fun things. Well, let me talk about one more fun thing before we get into my next topic. Okay. There's a comic book that I recommend everybody go out and buy. And you can get it in the collected form now. The first 6 issues. It's what in the world was that?
What me?
That was my jam.
Somebody just opened a grave and a vampire came out.
Sounded like a stereotypical horror movie door.
Right?
I tried to move my chair. I tried to be really sneaky.
Quick, everybody check over your shoulder for a ghoul looking at you from the doorway.
I swear, we're podcasting in a haunted house right now.
Remember, there ain't no second chance from the thing with 40 eyes.
Exactly, but I ain't scared of no ghosts. So,
Mm.
um, it's out to get. Okay, sorry.
Ew.
Uh, so the book that I was going to talk about is Die, D-I-E, but not like die as in like just go die, but die as in like the plural of dice. It's by Kieran Gillian and Stephen Hans, and let me tell you, it is what?
Like Karen Gillian of Doctor Who?
No, no, actually,
No.
This Karen's a man.
Oh, oh, oh.
It's a
Well, then
man,
cool.
baby. Yeah. So let me tell you, absolutely. First off, it's beautiful, but the story itself is amazing. The imagine the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon series, right? Back in the
Mhm.
day, they get sucked into the game, all that kind of stuff. The
Yeah.
same kind of the same general thing happens in this story, but oh my god, it's so much better. Like so much better. It hits you right in the feels sometimes. It ties in a lot of like Lord of the Rings, like J.R.R. Tolkien stuff. I mean, it is just phenomenal. So definitely a must read. I just wanted to bring that up. These are the same people that do The Wicked and the Divine as well. So if you like The Wicked
Mhm.
and Divine, then you'll probably love this book. Um,
It's from
so
Image Comics.
I believe it is Image Comics. Let me double check because it's actually within reach of me right now because I'm actually considering reading it a second time. It is Image Comics, yes,
Awesome.
and it is just I especially anybody that wants to write comic books really needs to read this book because just the way that it's written is just gorgeous. All right,
What about just
so that,
writing in general?
or just writing in general. Like if you just want to write kid stories, this one's fantastic. You know, kids get brought to some like far off land and murdered. It'll definitely help with your writing of children's
My
books.
children's books? Good, good. That's what I'm going for.
Yeah, but so that's the fun kind of boilerplate stuff. Let's talk about something that's really grinding my gears, as it were. You know, putting a bee in my bonnet, kind of getting on my nerves because it's the same thing every couple of years. It's the same thing, right? So there was those two instances back to back of gun violence in America, correct? Like I think
Hmm.
within a day of each other, a lot of people lost their lives, and I am unbelievably, well, I shouldn't say unbelievably, I'm believably sad for those people who lost their lives, for their loved ones who have to live without them, for those ones who are injured and are gonna have to deal with the injuries for the rest of their life. You know, I feel for those people. My issue is that now that that's happened, the media is back on the damn video game violence bandwagon.
Hmm.
So I'd like to discuss that on the podcast here today. I know that we don't normally do political things, we don't get like too serious or too deep, but I mean, this is frustrating.
Oh, absolutely.
So, what was the lawyer's name? And I know he was based out of Florida, and I know he was disbarred, but he had been for years trying to blame and ban video games for Columbine and various other atrocities. I can't remember his name, but I feel like he was, I don't know, pretty much the birther of this whole thing. He gave birth to this whole idea of blaming video games for horrible events happening.
And don't get me wrong, like I understand the need to place blame somewhere or to look for a cause and effect kind of thing, but I would argue that most of these people that do these shootings probably are mentally ill to begin with, and it doesn't matter what it is that they're doing. That's not going to affect them. What affects them is their mental illness that is either undiagnosed or untreated. You know, um, I don't. Before video games, they were blaming movies and music, and
Yeah.
even back in the day, there's the guy that went after comic books, and had the comic books code, created because
Right.
he was trying to say that comic books were bad influences on children and yada yada yada. And he put out that book. What is it? Uh, it's not like the corruption of the innocent, but something like that, and he was trying to say that because he did this one study where he went to all these juvenile detention centers and interviewed kids there that all the kids he interviewed that were there for violent crimes and things like that, or for sexual deviance or anything like that, all of them read comic books. Well, I hate to tell you this, but especially back during what was it, World War II, they were reading comic books like crazy over there. They came back and had to adjust back into society. There's been comic books around for a long time. I just could not imagine comic books being something that leads to murder, killing, sexual depravity, whatever. The only reason that these things were correlated, when what they found out later, is that these kids would get a certain amount of money while they're in the institute, and they were allowed to spend that money how they wanted, right? And that money they would spend on comic books because they enjoyed reading comic books. So I don't know.
I
Go
especially
ahead.
find it disturbing since we know that one of the number one contributing factors to hardcore drug use, domestic violence, just violence in general, is children growing up in an environment of violence. And yes, absent that, you do have those few who, have borderline personality disorders, whatever, and they, largely represent our criminal population. But these children growing up in these, homes and, like you said, are in juvie and jail and all these things, majority of them, overwhelming majority, came from those environments. I mean, that's the truth of the matter. This stuff has all been highly researched and documented. I just don't understand why people can't pluck the banana peels out of their ears.
Yeah, I don't know why it has to keep why video games have to be the scapegoat over and over again. You know what I'm saying? Like my thing that I posted on Facebook today was that I played like every one of the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney at Law video games, and I have no desire to be a lawyer. Like except for to yell objection really loud and point my hand, in an anime fashion at somebody. That's the only thing. That's the only inclination I have after playing those games.
Well, I find it interesting too, and I'll even throw in a personal anecdote here. I don't know if either of you guys ever played Fallout 2.
Oh yeah.
So, do you remember that part? I don't remember where it is. It's in like New Reno or something. And I, being like 14 years old or however old I was, it was hilarious that you could go there and, get involved in some post-apocalyptic, porno, right? And there was a name on there. It was called Arnold Swollen Member. And I thought that was hilarious. Absolutely hilarious that you pick your name in there. And apparently, somehow, my mother found out and was absolutely incensed with Fallout and, this joke. And I had even said it. Like, I didn't think there was anything wrong with it. It was hilarious. And they told me, and this is exactly what I was told. Well, what you do in video games is what you would do in real life. And I hadn't thought about that until this discussion has come up again. Because it seems to me that all of the good that I did in that game is completely ignored. All the people that I saved, the quests that I did. Hold on just a second. All of that was ignored. But that one goofy thing I did was the focus, and that is what I was punished on. And it's like, what about
And
all
my
these...
question.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, well, my question to you is, how's that porn career going now?
It's not. That's the thing. And in all of these games, you have all these moral choices that you make. And what about all the moral choices that you're making in these games? Why aren't those the focus of the discussion?
Sure.
Do you keep stepping away from the microphone?
Sorry, I keep getting attacked from behind by that ghoul. That was breaking the door.
Oh, okay. By the dogs of the show,
Yeah,
the podcast dogs.
the podcast dog.
Well,
See?
oh,
They
there you
made
go.
an
See, they heard their
appearance.
name. Well, where do you sit on this bald bearded bard?
I absolutely agree. I think that it's unfair to attack video games. It kind of feels like what, we're in the 90s again. I mean, next they're gonna start attacking Marilyn Manson. I
Yep.
mean, it's ridiculous. And I mean, like you guys said, just because you play video games doesn't mean that's what you turn around and did. I mean, I've played video games since for as long as I can remember. As a small child, I played Doom, for Christ's sake. I mean, and not to say that you should just let your kids play whatever they want. I think
Oh,
that
absolutely.
a part of that is parenting and censoring your kids is to their maturity level. But I mean, a big part of it is, like you said, I hate to say mental illness, but it is a big part of it, I think. And then you also have to take into account the access to these weapons that they have, and the environments they grew up in. And I mean, there's just
Well,
a lot more factors than video
e-
games.
exactly. And one of the biggest factors that keeps getting pushed out of the limelight, and it drives me a little nuts, is they want to focus on like video games or violent media, whatever the case be is, and like not talk as much about the gun control or
Hmm.
things, gun regulations and things like that. Which, don't get me wrong, I feel like every American has a right to a reasonable um, level of gun ownership. You
Hmm.
know, but maybe there needs to be just some regulations involved with if you buy a gun, you also have to buy some kind of securing device. Like if you buy a gun, you have to buy like one of those trigger locks or something like that. You know what I mean? Like
Gun safe.
something that, like, yeah,
Right.
or guns, or you have to provide proof that you have a gun safe or something like that. Something that shows that you are a responsible gun owner. you
Yeah.
know I mean, and even that won't stop everything,
Well, I
Right.
mean,
but just the
we don't even invest in mental health anymore. They've
mhm.
shut
Yeah.
down and shut down and shut down, and have been slowly deconstructing our mental health access since what, the 80s and 90s. It started with Carter,
Oh yeah.
and it went into Clinton Senior, and then, or not Clinton Senior, Bush Senior, Clinton, and Bush Junior, and now Nate, I can't think of, other than a crisis center, we don't have mental hospitals anymore for people to be, taken care of and treated. I mean, all of
Yeah.
these places are overburdened. So it's no wonder they're
Mhm.
spilling into the streets, because there are no beds available. There's nothing available for people to have access that don't have money. And even when you do have money, there's a
Yeah.
story of that senator where his son, he woke up to his son stabbing him and slicing his face open. The police showed up and killed his son, and I believe it was in
Mhm.
like Dakota, one of the Dakotas or something. And now he's taking a stance trying to get this stuff reversed and get back to where we were.
Yeah.
Well, just recently in our own county, well, not in your county, obviously, bald bearded bard, but in Brevard County, there was a child who just beat his grandfather to death, who suffered from a form of autism and mental illness, and not only did he beat him, but he went and grabbed several different items to, you know what I mean, like, and this was a kid who'd been through some of the system and programs and stuff, but nobody was really doing anything to address his aggressive behaviors and things like that until it was too late. You know,
Mm.
now he's murdered his one of his own family members. And unfortunately, he's going to go through the prison system, which is not appropriate for him.
Right.
No, not at
Even
all.
even with murdering someone, it's still not appropriate for him.
Yeah.
And so, like, but there's not going to be. I mean, I doubt he's going to be put in a facility. And even if he is put in a facility, is that facility going to be able to rehabilitate him? No. It's probably too late at this point in time. He's probably
Yeah.
going to just rot away in there.
And you mentioned a minute ago that they're focused on the video games and not gun control. A prime example of that is my wife works at Walmart, and
Hmm.
Walmart, after they had another issue where somebody brought a gun into Walmart, just I believe it was earlier today, late yesterday, in Missouri, and Walmart has decided to stop advertising their violent video games and stop letting them play. Sometimes they have those display TVs there in the video game center, and so they're not going to do that anymore. But they're still going to sell guns.
Yeah, like,
It's the
and
best
I
place to
I
get your
don't have
hundred
a
dollar. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no. Go ahead.
I would say it's your best place to get your $100 shotgun. Walmart.
It's sickening in many ways. I don't. I You cannot blame media for the way that people act in society. Like, example, um, my father, since I was 4 years old, put on a haunted house every year, right? So since I was like 4 years old, I had seen haunted houses. I had seen the horror and the blood and the monsters and the this and the that, right? So I knew from a very young age that those things were fake, and because of
Yeah.
that, I watched a lot of horror movies and stuff like that because I really enjoyed that genre, and I wanted to see how the professionals, put on that kind of show and stuff, right? These did not make me want to go out and murder anybody, you know, um, and knowing that it was fake. See, that's another thing too. Like, one of the most important things that a parent must do is explain to them that this is a form of entertainment, whatever it is, whether it's a movie, whether it's a book, whether it's a video game, any kind of media that your child is taking in. You need to explain to them, hey, this is fantasy. This is not real life, and all of it. The love in the movie, or in the whatever it is, whatever the media is. Um, the comedy, the action, the suspense, the drama, the murder, the horror, whatever it is, they need to understand the science fiction of it. They need to understand that it's all fake. It's for entertainment value.
I only have
And
two.
Absolutely.
Oh, sorry.
no, good.
I only have two points on that. Point number one, uh, somebody needs to tell Stephanie Meyer that Twilight is fake. Got her.
Never gonna happen. I cannot wait till you and Stephanie Meyer have like a showdown. Like she is going to wipe the
She'll kick
floor
my
with
ass.
you.
But on a serious
Seriously.
note, though, we say this, and I absolutely agree with it, and yet they're arguing against mental health as a problem. And how, in what universe can you sit there with a straight face where, and I refuse to say his name because I make it a point of professional pride to not propagate bullcrap like that. The Stoneman Douglas shooter. He sat there in the interview and said the demons in his head told him to do it. In what world is that kid sane? In what
Exactly.
world is he on his right mind? Oh no, it's because he was, whatever XYZ political supporter, and he supported whatever candidate. That's why he did it. What the hell? What in the
Yeah.
world, man? That's crazy.
No. Yeah, I think we brought up a few excellent points. First off, parents need to be more involved in their children's lives and know what they're watching, what they're being exposed to, right? I think we can all agree on that.
Absolutely.
Mental health needs to be revamped, and if someone shows signs of, mental illness, like in school and things like that, anywhere where, a professional might be able to, intervene, they need to intervene. Like there needs to be programs in place for them they've been, um, kind of categorized, as it were. I don't want to use that word per se, but once they've been identified,
Mhm.
and lastly, we need to work on gun control. Like, I mean, it doesn't have to be drastic, but just like minor things, I think will go a long way. You know, some minor changes as far as like gun control or regulation are concerned. Again, I fully support, everybody's right to own a weapon. Well, not everybody's right to own a weapon, I should say. I know that there are laws in many states, including Florida, that if you are known to have mental illness, then you are actually not supposed to be owning a weapon. But
Mhm.
and I don't argue with that at all. I honestly kind of agree with that. If you have at least a certain type of mental illness, I don't think that you should have access to firearms. But whatever, that's the discussion for a whole another day. But
Well, and that's.
you know,
I'm sorry.
go ahead.
I was just gonna say that that's when you said some types of mental illness. That's why I said earlier that I hate to say mental illness because I mean there's lots of things that are qualified as mental illness that and lots of people have like just
Yep.
anxiety and depression that they don't go out and shoot people. So it's I hate to use that expression mental illness because it applies to a lot of different folk. So
Uh, And that's true, and I understand that there's always the fear of like knee jerk reactions,
right.
and everybody just going under the mental illness umbrella.
Yeah.
Of course there are those issues, but there are certain like schizophrenics,
Sure.
especially those that have really bad psychosis,
Elderly folks with severe dementia. I mean,
Yeah.
they're
Absolutely.
absolutely
They
a
should.
danger.
Oh, there's at least like once a year. There's at least one, story. Maybe not once a year, but it seems like once a year. There's at least one story of some elderly person with some kind of dementia who takes a pop shot at somebody.
Mm.
Hmm.
So whether they actually do damage or not, it doesn't really matter. They still have the potential.
Yeah, almost happened to me.
So yeah, see.
So
That's why you shouldn't be running the streets and trying to start that whole gang of elderly people because they're gonna show you up
listen,
on that block. I'm
recruiting is
telling you.
really low right now. Our geriatrics keep dying due to old age. I don't know what to do about it. I keep trying to get them to eat fish and rice like they do in Okinawa, Japan, but they just won't listen.
So is old age like your enforcer? Is that what it is? That was like a little slick like they keep dying from old age, and then you got like dude in your gang who's actually like built like a brick shit house, and that's old age. Like he runs around with a pipe and stuff like that, and beats the rival
Yeah,
geriatrics to
just
death for
beats
you.
them if they don't stay in line and stick with the code. Listen, you gotta have
Oh,
tea and crumpets at 4. If you have them at 5, you get the stick.
all right, guys. I think we should get off this overly political message. We said a good amount of stuff that who cares what our opinions are really, but it's that time for the Die of Destiny. So,
Oh crap.
Mr. Bald Bearded Bard, if you'd be so kind as to roll your d20, and then tell us
Absolutely.
if you're going to add or subtract that to my roll.
I had it right here.
It was there the whole time.
Sounded
It
like
was.
it was in a briefcase.
I know. He actually had a lockbox. He had
Yeah.
doot, 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 doot.
It's special.
And the roll is.
I feel like heavy breathing into the microphone.
This is some serious suspense. What'd you get? Did he die?
Is he horrified that he rolled a 1?
Oh my god.
Okay, I had to go find one because I'm not like faking this. This has to be serious. D20 is
Oh, okay.
this is serious business, guys.
All right. Well, now that you found one, do you want to roll the dice?
I'll roll it right now. 7.
All right. So you're gonna add, subtract, or do nothing with that.
We're gonna add.
Add that to my roll. Okay. Here we go. Rolling the die, and we got a 9. So that did not reach 20. So you're safe. You're safe, and I am safe, and nobody's telling a really embarrassing story right now. So now that we've had a very rough and emotional podcast, I will cut it off here and say that I'm the Merce
It's Felton.
I'm
and
the
the
bald
dog,
bearded bard. And his dogs.
And the dog.
and we'll catch you guys on the next one.